Go. There we go. So thank you, everybody. And I'm Claudia Rickard, and I probably will have spoken to all of you at some point. So what this is, it's like having a first session with me. A lot of what I'm going to share with you today is actually what I do in a session. And we're not going to be doing you per se, but you will be doing what you want on for yourself. Okay, so it's interactive. Now, before we even start, there is something I really like to do, and you may think it's a little bit what on earth is she doing? However, it is something that I do because it actually gets the energy going, and you can join in if you want to. You don't have to if you don't want to. I am going to do it because it on-ramps me into giving a really good presentation. So I will do this first. And like I say, you may all think, what on earth is she doing? There is a method in my madness because it anchors me into a good state. And I'll explain what anchoring is as we go along, because you will all have some anchors as well. So I'm going to start, and you can you just watch me first of all. So my mind is still like water. My body is strong like a mountain. My heart is fierce like a lion. Rah! Okay, now you can either join me or not. It really doesn't matter. However, this is actually what the whole thing is like. All right, I'm very full of energy, I'm very upbeat, and we go for the future. All right, where it's about getting better, and it's why it's called becoming a happier you. Okay, so again, you can put your hands like this if you want to. My mind is still like water. My body is strong like a mountain. My heart is fierce like a lion. Rah! Okay, brilliant. Okay. And a lot of you may know that I do work with little children and the parents of the children. And do I get them to do that? And do the parents do that with their children in the morning before they go to school? Yes. Okay. So because it gets everybody in a fun mood. Okay. So let's start with everybody here. I would like you to tell me, to write it down, because you're not going to tell me, because whatever goes on in here, if somebody does share, please, it's a safe place, although it is being recorded. So you possibly keep it to yourself, and you may want to talk to me about it afterwards. Now, I'd like you all to write down, what do you want? What do you want to feel like? What do you want? What do you want to change? What do you want? I'd like you to write that down. And then I'd like you to notice that, because when I'm in a session with somebody, they often tell me everything that they don't want. I don't want these thoughts. I don't want this this horrible feeling. I don't want the anxiety, whatever it is. And I say to them, so when you put in your GPS to come and see me, did you put in, I don't want Carey, I don't want Holly Springs, I don't want Fuquay, or did you actually put in my address and what you wanted? Oh yeah, I did put your address in. So I say, please write down what you want, because that changes everything. When we write down what we don't want, guess what's listening? The universe. And that is actually what you're then focusing your energy on. And that is actually what you end up getting, because that's all you're thinking about all the time. So we write down what you want. What do you want? I want you to notice what you've written. For many people, it's joy, peace, freedom, calm. So when you have that and you've written down what you want, the next thing I ask my clients is, when you have that, whatever it is, and it could have been freedom, peace, calm, clarity, whatever it is that you've written down, when you have that, what will that give you? And then they tell me. And then it could be something again similar. So if they've said, I want clarity, I want peace of mind, then what that will give them, it could be freedom, it could be happiness, it could be whatever it is. So I want you to write down, when you have that first thing, what will that give you? And then the next question I ask everybody is, what's stopping you from having that, say, freedom or clarity, peace of mind, happiness? What's stopping you from having that? And I'd like you to write down what's stopping you. And some people say, oh, it's myself, my thoughts, my environment. The next question I then ask, who's your support? Who's your support system? Who looks after you? And for some people, they could say mum, dad, their friends, their husband, their wife. For some people, it's nobody. So I say, who looks after you? Okay. So those are the questions I ask. Okay. And then I like to start sharing about what is going on for them. And I say, let me draw some diagrams for you. So I would like you all to get some paper. Okay. And we will build these diagrams together. Now, so first of all, at the top, so start at the top, I'm going to draw like an egg. Okay. And make sure you've got space under here. So this egg, this represents your brain. These are just models that I am drawing. Are they right or are they wrong? They're models. In my opinion, they're great. Okay. And they help so many people understand what is going on for them. So this represents your brain. And then draw a line here. This bit is your conscious mind. This is the bit that you all learnt to drive with. And some of you may even have had the gears and shift sticks. Okay. I certainly did, because in England, you can only drive with a shift. Okay. I mean, they are automatics, but you have to learn with the gears. So you're really conscious. I mean, there's 3 pedals there. All right. But when you're all first learning, you probably look to see what your feet were doing. And then after a while, okay, and it doesn't take that long, especially in an automatic, you start driving with this bit, your unconscious mind, subconscious mind, whatever you want to call this bit. Look how big this bit is. Okay. Because this is where all your habits, dreams, and memories are stored in this biggest bit here. Okay. So now, soon after you started to learn to drive, you put the key in, press the button, whatever you do, and you just drive. Yeah. And it's easy now. Now we are all also 100% emotional brain. Everything you have has an emotional attachment. You'll have things around your house that remind you of certain vacations, people. Maybe some of you have got tattoos. Maybe some of you have got certain bits of jewelry that have an emotional connection. The smells, flowers, all sorts of things. Now, we also all react 100% emotionally. We just do. Anybody ever lost their credit card, left it at a shop somewhere? You get that feeling. We're just reacting. Okay. Sometimes you see a cute little baby that's giggling, you start laughing. It's so cute. see something sad, hear some sad news, you go, oh gosh. So we are all 100% emotional brain. We just do, we react. Now this bit, I want you to draw a line here now. This bit is your anxiety box. And this bit is normal. That is normal anxiety. We are meant to have some anxiety. It goes back to caveman days, fight, flight, freeze. If you didn't have that, then you would have let your children play with copperheads, or you would be playing with copperheads, or you just walk out in the road willy-nilly. Okay, so we have to have that. All right, keeps us safe. Again, with the person who's driving all over the road in front of us, we go, whoa, we hang back. They're either asleep, they're on drugs, they're drunk, whatever. We go, I don't want to be anywhere near them. Okay, am I right? Yeah. So we need that, keeps us safe, keeps us alive. And then we have this bit. And what is this? Well, this is all the crappy bits in life that happen. And there's rape, there's abuse, there's neglect, there's parents splitting up, there's parents dying, there's losing children, there is bullying, there's losing jobs, there's car crashes, there's hurricanes, tornadoes, there is pets dying, there's stuff. Okay. And these are called exiles in pain. And that is past pain that is still in pain. Past pain that is still in pain. And I'm sure we all have had some of these, or you'd put your own things in, okay? And these are not very nice. And nobody likes to feel these things. Nobody likes that because it hurts. So what happens, the emotional brain kicks in. I've just drawn two little arrows like that from there to there. And it produces these. Which look like udders on a cow. I could have drawn square boxes, but I haven't, okay? These are our outlets. These are our sub-protectors. So what have we got here? Well, we have habits and addictions. And there's all sorts of different habits and addictions, okay? So we have gambling, we have drugs, and that includes prescription drugs. We have alcohol, we have shopping. My daughter has that. We have sex and porn. We have what else have we got? Sugar, food. Now, it's hard because, of course, we need to eat food, but some people eat lots, too much. We have work. We have the gym. Some people overdo the gym. However, people would sort of tend to think that work and gym are at least the two less evils. And then, of course, you can have gaming, iPhone, and it's hard because our work is often on our iPhone now. So there's all sorts of different things that people do here. Now, there's also OCD, and there's fears and phobias. There is sleep issues, insomnia. I always ask my clients how well they sleep. I always say that. And how many, what's your sleep like? And then we have a little discussion about sleep because it is so important. It is the repairing of our body. And it is important that people get their sleep. Sometimes, and it's been noticed now, that if people aren't getting enough sleep, then they can get very foggy minded. And actually, that can also result in symptoms of things like ADHD. And it's not necessarily ADHD, it's just lack of sleep. So lack of focus and things like that. So sleep is paramount, and I always ask about sleep. Now, there's also pain. And there's IBS, migraines. There is fibromyalgia. Mystery pain. Mystery pain. A lot of teenagers have mystery pain. Now, you might be thinking, well, hang on a minute. How can it be a subprotector? Pain. Why would we be doing that? Well, it's interesting because I always get very curious. And I will say something, if they say, oh yeah, I get migraines. I go, tell me more. And I will often find out, and they'll share, that when they are having a migraine, then that stops them from having to go out. It stops them from having a difficult conversation, stops them from going to work, to school, to whatever it is, because it's a subprotector. So it's protecting them from something here. Okay, so I always get curious. Now, we also have perfectionism, which can lead, of course, to procrastination. I see a lot of people who are perfectionists. And again, it can lead, because if they can't do it perfect enough, then they don't do it, and then they procrastinate. And then we also have tics. And I don't mean the little creatures, okay? We have tics, and we have picking, nail biting. We have bruxism, which is teeth clenching and grinding. We have hair pulling, which is trichotillomania. I'm not going to write trichotillomania. I'll be here all day. Okay. Now, when I say picking, I look at the hands, and it is interesting because when people, and you will know people who do this, who there's like blood all around the nails, or they pick their skin. Some people really pick their skin, pick scabs, pick. Picking is criticism. And sometimes people take over the criticism that they had from when they were a child. So now they're picking on themselves, literally picking. So there's an exile in pain there. Okay. So if I've noticed that, oh, they go, oh yeah, I do, or I do this, or I do that, then we know there's something here. Okay. Now, what else have we got? We have anger. Some people have anger issues. I do see people with anger issues. And sometimes it's not necessarily anger to other people. It is anger towards themselves. I should be this. I should be that. That word should. And of course, that's like the inner critical voice. The little voice that goes on in your head. Oh, what are you doing that for? Oh, you stupid, you daft thing. Why did you say that? Oh no, how embarrassing. Shame on you. And I get curious again, whose voice is it? Is it yours or is it somebody else's? Sometimes it is somebody else's. So again, we know there's something here. Sometimes it's their own. And again, you're thinking, hang on a minute. How is that inner critical voice a protector? So, well, it actually probably doesn't want you to procrastinate. It's saying, come on, we can do more. It's your higher self. We can do more. Maybe I see sometimes people who are big, and the protector is saying, you smell, you're lazy, you're fat, you're gross, you look awful in your clothes. And they're going, it's so mean to me. I'm going, yeah, because it doesn't want you to die. It doesn't want you to get a heart attack, get diabetes. And I know not all diabetics have extra weight on them. It doesn't want you to have high blood pressure. It wants you to live. It will be mean to you until you hear it. Oh, okay. And I go, we can make friends with it. And then we downgrade the bully. And then we do certain things. And I go, you can tell it, make friends with it. We're on it now. There's all sorts of things I can put in here. Stealing. I have clients who steal. And, you know, they might not anymore, but they have done. And because of these. So my job, I mean, as I say, we could fill this. I mean, there's busy, people are busy all the time. There's all sorts of things we could put in here. Okay. And again, if somebody's coming to me for a specific thing, then that will obviously go in there. Now, my job is to get rid of these, the exiles in pain. And then these things shrink by default. Does that make sense? Do I have any questions about this diagram? Does everybody understand it? Feel free to ask any questions. Everybody good with it? Yeah, most people understand it. They get it. Okay, so another diagram. Okay, I have lots of diagrams. And then the thing is that when I am doing this with my clients, they will often get oh, I've got that. Sometimes I get tears immediately as when I've said some of the words, and we know. And then it's very helpful because then they know that I know, and it just helps the whole work become so much easier because now it's about them and they know I've got them. Does that make sense? It's like these, and they understand why they're doing these now because it's those. Now, so here's another diagram. I'm going to draw some triangles. Well, a triangle here. That starts at the very beginning of life. And our mind is eager to learn, and our body is eager to get going. And our soul is brand new and shiny from Soul World. Now, if you don't believe in souls, if you're not very spiritual, that's not a problem. We put self. Okay. Now, when these all overlap, we get this lovely, lovely little bit in here, and that is called balance and harmony. And hopefully you all had that when you were children. And that is play, 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 Christmas birthdays, play, 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 Christmas birthdays. Not all of my clients have ever had that. In fact, some don't even know what that is. And hopefully, if you have children, you were able to give that to your child. Play, 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 Christmas birthdays. That foundation of unconditional love. Now, and just share just some strong roots. Now, what happens in life? Oh, there's school. And then this happens. And there's expectations. Now, with the best will in the world, I'm a parent too. I do. I've always expected my children to say, brush their teeth, do their homework, come down when I call them for dinner. Some parents put on their child, why didn't you make the A star? Why didn't you make the soccer team? Why didn't you do this? They did. They start comparing their children to other children. They managed to do that. Why can't you? They're not like that. Why are you like that? And this leads to disappointments. Now, some children or some people put the expectations on themselves, which is the I should be able to do this. Some teachers do it to kids. Now, no matter what, expectations lead to disappointments, and this triangle is created. anger, fear, and guilt. And the anger feeds the fear, and the fear feeds the guilt, and the guilt feeds the anger, and the fear feeds the anger, and the anger feeds the guilt, and the guilt feeds the fear. And it goes every which ways. And most of my clients will say, yeah, that's me. All anger is based in fear. So when you look at your own anger and your own frustrations, acknowledge that actually it is fear. You go the blow, and it's often, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I should have done better. I'm unlovable. Who will want to be with me? So all anger about something is based in fear. My job, I say to my client, is to get you back to here, balance and harmony as best as I can. And we do that together. And we do that with acceptance. And that is acceptance of yourself and acceptance of other people. Acceptance of yourself and acceptance of other people. We're all a bit quirky. We're all a little bit weird. And that's okay. Acceptance of yourself and all your little foibles. Is that an English word? Do you have that here? So all your quirks. All right. Now, an acceptance of other people's. Some people just will not change. If you've got elderly parents and they're still doing their thing and they're not aware, they're not going to change. We are not in control of other people. The only person you're in control of is yourself. Now, forgiveness. Forgiveness of yourself and forgiveness of other people. Now, I see a lot of people who have been abused. I do not tell people to forgive people. I don't do that. That's your choice. Because I help people, I help my clients get to a place of indifference so that they then have a choice whether they choose to forgive that person or not. That's their choice. I don't tell people to forgive. That's your choice. I can get people to a place of indifference. So just like, well, so what? And then it's people's choice. Okay, does that make sense? Letting go is what I am really good at doing, helping people letting go so that they get to do this thing, which is called moving on. And that is my client's job. That's what they get to do, moving on. That's what you get to do, moving on. Okay. Does that make sense? Do I have any questions on that one? Feel free to unmute yourself and ask any questions. Everybody happy? Yeah. Okay. So let me explain a little bit more. I like to do as much explaining as possible because everybody learns in a different way. So this represents our amygdala. And our amygdala is a little piece in the brain. I'm not sure exactly where it is, but it's in there. Oh, you got one. There you go. Casey's got one. And it's always looking after us. There we go. It's always looking after us. And it goes fight, flight, freeze. Fight, flight, freeze. It's always, always looking out for us. Now, so right now, I'm in the state of North Carolina. I know some of you here are as well. Right now, if a copperhead slithered into my room, I would go like that, okay? And I would immediately probably jump up on my chair and start screaming for my husband to come and save me, okay? Now, if I sort of said to you, I'm just going to jump up on my chair you'd all be going, what is she doing? And I'd be going, what am I doing? There's no impetus. There's no whatever. There's no movement. Not a problem. If a snake came in, I'd go, hey, like that. I would react straight away. So aren't our brains amazing? Okay. I would get a shot of cortisol, a shot of adrenaline, and I would immediately just move. So, like I say, aren't our brains amazing? So imagine we're in a bank and a robber comes in with a gun. We'd all go like that. Yeah, we'd all probably freeze unless one of you is a black belt. Okay, but we would probably all freeze. He's got a gun. He also smells of this really stinky cologne. Okay, and then he grabs us by our shoulders and he shoves us in a tiny closet. Now we're all trapped in this little room. Now the police come, they take him away, we're let out, and we go, ooh, back down there. However, for some reason, we don't like being touched on our shoulders anymore. He anchored in fear. So we're going, anytime somebody goes out there, we go, ooh, ooh, don't like that. And then some of you here might not like flying. Some of you might not like elevators. Some of you, if you're in a small room, might always have to have the doors open. And 20 years later, we could smell the smell of the stinky cologne and start going, ooh, ooh, I don't like this. I don't like this. And we even have a panic attack. Now, we have no idea why we're suddenly feeling really anxious and unsafe. But the amygdala remembers why. Because when we are trapped, now, when somebody's trapped, and it is often when we are children, okay, when we're trapped, it could be at work, it could be in a car, it could be in a relationship. When you are trapped and you can't get away, and this nasty thing happens, so like I say, it could be trapped in a car. I was trapped in a car, and it's called an ampereceptor. So I say it's like a big blob of poo, okay? A big blob of poo sticks on here. And then it starts to catastrophize into other areas. So now we might not like the flying, we might not like the elevators. If we're in a movie theatre, now we might always have to have ourselves sat at the end of the row, okay, to get away. Because this blob of poo has literally catastrophized into all sorts of other areas. And we all know this, how now you might not like that, but now you don't like this. And then it goes on and on and on. So my job is to take the poo off. All right. That is what I do. And as somebody said, oh, so you're the pooper scooper. Yes, I am the pooper scooper. We get your poop in a group, and then you will feel it. People do feel it. I have tears. I have grown men crying. Not a problem. People will feel it. Then we deal with it. And then together we heal it. I don't call myself a healer. All right. I like the person to know that they've done it themselves. I like my clients to go, yeah, I did that. And I will always say to my clients, you did that, not me. So we clear the landscape. So what I ask my clients to do is this little bit of homework here. And I invite you, so you can write this down for yourself. If you, there's your age and significant emotional event. I'm in the state of North Carolina, so I'm not allowed to use the word trauma. Significant emotional event. And I mean bad ones. I don't need the good ones. You can keep all those. And it could just be a feeling. You may just get a sense of doom, a sense of dread, a sense of whatever it is. And then out of 10, oops, can't write properly. Out of 10, how much that still upsets you. 10 being the worst, it upsets you, 0 being nothing. I am looking for the ones that get stuck in people's throats. The ones that where that feeling comes up behind your eyes and just makes you want to cry. That feeling where you literally feel it physically. Could be like a lump of lead in your chest. It could be churning in your stomach. It could be whatever it is for you. It could be a pounding in your head. Those things. Now, I am not magic. I cannot take the whole thing away. So say if it's a frog in your throat, I can't take the whole frog away, but I can turn it back into a tadpole or frog spawn. Now that's pretty good, isn't it? So that you, instead of going like that, because that is stress, and that is what kills people. Instead of doing that, you go, nah, nah, so what? That's being indifferent. Okay, that's what I get people to do, because I get rid of those, the exiles in pain. Any questions on anything I've just been saying there? Any questions on any of that? Does it all make sense? Yeah. And my clients all go, yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get it. And it's like, oh my gosh, I get some people go, I got a lot of poo on there. Like, and if I have somebody literally after I've even when I'm in the middle of doing this and they are literally emotional, I will clear something straight away because I've got the emotion. I'm not going to waste that. They're crying in my office. I will clear it straight away. How do I do that? Okay, so I either use the bunny talk process that I've developed. I use the blast technique. I might use havening. I have so many different techniques. These are all psychosensory tools so that people can actually release those things. And what happens is that it oscillates these various things. So there's a lot of eye movements involved. It oscillates the GABA waves inside the brain and it pops the poo off so that people are feeling indifferent. There is a lot of neuroscience behind it. I've trained in every single which one I possibly can. And as I say, I've even created my own for children and teenagers because it's just so important to become indifferent. And when you can become indifferent, then all of these things that are just little outlets, just little things that you do, they shrink by default. Got to get those. Let me keep on explaining. This is the barrel of life. Stuff happens and it's meant to flow out of there. That gets clogged. And that is an initial sensitizing event. And then there is an activating event. And then there's lots of other subsequent sensitizing events. If I can get these, then that's the initial sensitizing event and the activating event. It unblocks this, and then the rest come down like dominoes. That's why when I get this back from the client, and we deal with the younger ones first, then we can start unplugging that. Okay, let me explain again. We have a little, I don't know, say 3-4-year-old little girl. She's playing on the rug and there's a black widow spider there. Mother comes in, sees the black widow spider, scoops her little child up, goes, "Don't touch that, it'll kill you." And quite rightly, she would scoop her up and say that, probably. I know I probably would have done. And then, however, so that's the initial sensitizing event. Ooh, spider, okay? And it was like physically put into her. Then 3-4 months later, big brother comes in with a big hairy spider. And it could even just be a plastic one. Ha, 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 ha. Starts chasing his little sister about. Okay, that is the activating event. Now, all spiders are going to kill her, terrified of spiders. And I'm sure we all know people like that, whether it be snakes, wasps, fish, all sorts of things. People can be like that. So my job is to get those two. Any questions on that? Does that make sense? Okay. So I've got another diagram. I hope you all like these diagrams. Are they making sense? A lot of my clients are very visual. And again, of course, as I'm saying all these, I'm getting more information. I'm also calibrating. What does calibrating mean? I'm watching their body language. I am watching all the time to flushes, to whatever it is I'm hearing, whatever I'm sensing. I am, or foot tapping, or suddenly this, or I'm hearing it all. I'm watching all the time. And this gives me a really good overall thing with the client. And then they can sense that we're building that rapport. They know, because they know I've got them. I'm so focused on my clients, and it's like it's just us. Now, so another diagram. And starts at the very beginning of life. Sperm meets the egg. They get together and they make a little zygote. And the first thing that is made of the human is the brain. So we draw a little circle like that now, right in the middle of your paper, little circle. And it is our unconscious bit of our brain. And it is in charge of our bodily functions. Because it then says, go make a heart, eyes, nose, ears, mouth, teeth, legs, kidneys, spleen, blah, 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 blah. And it's also in charge of our immune system, because when we're ill, we all know this, we sleep, yeah? We're just like, oh, bed, okay? You're not well, bed. Now, and also when we're first pregnant, we get pretty tired. Now at 22 weeks, baby is fully made. And that is when the next bit of the brain is made, and that is our subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind is in charge of our senses. Sight, sound, hearing, touch, taste, smell, all of our senses. And our senses are in charge of our feelings. And our feelings are our emotions, which is energy in motion. When you were all little and you heard children playing outside, what did you want to do? Go play. Most of us. Sometimes I do get clients go, I wanted to hide. Okay, so I'm hearing something else then. I'm going, okay, yeah, I get that. Now, but most of us, but they do, I mean, they do say, but I know that I probably would have wanted to have played, really, you know. It's again, it's always listening to what's going on. So that goes backwards and forwards. Do you know they spray the Cinnabon smell out in the malls so people smell it, feel it, goes backwards and forwards. Oh, now I've got to go taste it. Very clever. And same, it could be same for the ching 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 flashing lights in Las Vegas. Same for for smokers, for drinkers. Same for anything that people do, and that creates a state. Okay, this whole sense and feeling backwards and forwards bit creates a state, and a state creates a habit. And a habit always has a positive intention. And it's also a protector. And it's also a little bit lazy in that it goes back to that default thing every time. Now, I don't mean lazy like a little sloth. I mean, lazy in that, my first thing I do every morning to make myself feel better is I will move my body. I'll put my gym stuff on and I will go and do some exercise. That's what I do every single morning. Even if I'm going to go for an early morning flight, I will move my body for at least a little bit because I know I'll be walking around the airport. So it's like, so I just do that. That is what I do to make myself feel better. For some people, get in the car and oh, Casey, now you hear them playing outside. That's good. Now I some people get in the car and they go for a Starbucks. Some people is Dunkin' Donuts and a cigarette. Some people it's McDonald's. They just do their thing, okay? And that is their lazy habit because this becomes their beliefs and their values. It's just what they do. Now, next bit of the brain is made. I'm doing good circles here, aren't I? Next bit of the brain is made, and that is our conscious mind. Guess how old we are when our conscious mind is made? 5 to 7 years old. 5 to 7 years old. And as Einstein said, it is our IQ and is 10% of us. Apparently, our IQ can only ever go up or down 4%. You've either got it or you haven't. Now, this bit in the middle, is 90% of us and is our EQ, emotional intelligence. This is what I'm coaching everybody on right now. This bit in the middle is our emotional intelligence, and this can grow exponentially. So isn't that great? Out here in our conscious mind, we have willpower. And our conscious mind is our rational, analytical, critical, comparing, and contrasting part of us. When we were little, we didn't know if somebody was pink, purple, black, white, spotty, stripy. People were people. We played with everybody. At some point, we were taught the difference between black and white. And that was usually around school age or from our parents. My job is to bypass the critical faculty of the conscious mind and go in here to create the change. And we do that with hypnosis. Shock will do it for some people, and relaxation. So that's lots and lots of meditations. Now, what do I mean by shock? I don't mean shock therapy. I mean, a best friend of ours, his twin brother died of drinking and smoking too much, and he stopped just like that. A shock will do it for some people, especially if it's not a very well-trodden path. If it is a new habit, a new addiction, if you like, then the shock can bring somebody out pretty quick and they're just not going to do it anymore. If the path is being trod over and over, so let me just draw this one here as well. So to say that's your brain again, and they've been doing it for years and years and years and years, this thing, and they've got this belief system. I am a this, I am a that, my life sucks, or I'm shit, I'm crap, I'm whatever, wherever they got it, even as a child. That's a belief system. That is actually hypnosis. Hypnosis is BS, a belief system. And people hypnotize themselves into this belief system. I am an addict. I am this. I am, and that's their belief system. Like I just said on here, becomes your beliefs and your values. Now, my job is to de-hypnotize people, if you like, from that belief system. If that path is if they're only young and they've only got it for a little bit, then it's much easier for them to jump out of it. because it's not that long. So that's why shock can actually work really well for youngsters. And they, okay. And then they can create a new belief system. That's my job, to help people create a new belief system. And that's what I do. So any questions on any of that for anybody? I hope that made some sense there for some of you. Okay. Now, shock doesn't always work for some people. I will explain this one because it's very useful. I had a client, she came in and she was a mother of 2 young children, breast cancer survivor, and she was smoking 8 cigarettes a day. She said, what am I doing? Now, we immediately got it down to the two cigarettes, because if you're only smoking 8, there's actually only probably 2 that count in a day. The following week, she comes in with her list. And she has on here, it's when her father had criticized her so much, telling her that her brother was better than she was. He would amount to more than she would. She was 15 years old. And at that point, we all know what we were like when we were teenagers. Belligerent, can't tell me what to do. And in her head, she thought, well, fuck you, Dad, can't tell me what to do. And actually, that was when she started smoking. I said, what are you still saying to the cancer? And she went, oh, yeah, fuck you, cancer. Because that part of her was still saying that. She still had that part. So what I did, I was able to clear the landscape, the poo around her dad from here, because that was on here. And then in hypnosis, we grew that part up so that it would act, and it chose its things that it would do instead. So she did the work, I just guided, because that's all I do, I'm a guide. And then she was able to integrate that back into her. The 2 parts were now working together. She grew that 15-year-old up, basically, so that it would benefit her how she wanted it to. Now, if I had just done a smoking, did I even put smoking on there? I didn't. Okay. So if I'd just done the smoking, there you go, add it. If I'd just done the smoking cessation, which I could have done, great, she probably would have stopped. However, who knows? Who knows? All it would take is for her dad to visit, and he starts criticizing her children, and then she goes there. So what do you think she'll do again? She would start smoking or do something else or whatever it is. Okay. So so in that, poo needed to come off, because now when her dad criticizes her children, she'd just go, he's going to go soon. What does he know? Or sod him, it's like, what does he know? She'd just go there instead of, oh my God, it's like, me again, me as a child, he's having a go at me, I'm not worthy, that means my kids aren't worthy, because that is stress. Okay. And then what was her lazy default was to smoke. And so that's why she would go back to her lazy default and start smoking again. Does that make sense? Can shock be getting, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That shock will do it. Yeah. It did for my son when he got arrested. Been there. There's reasons why I do what I do. So let me explain again. We have a smoker. Okay, it's New Year's Eve, and I'm going to use my willpower to stop smoking. And then he goes to a party, and his friends are drinking and smoking. And he starts drinking because he hasn't said he was going to stop drinking. And then his friends are going outside to smoke, because not many people smoke inside anymore. And he goes outside with them. They go, oh, come on, come outside with us. Da, 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 da. And then he starts smoking because actually, what do you think is going to win? The army of 10% or the army of 90%? This bit in the middle doesn't know that drinking, smoking, gambling, it doesn't know that anything is good or bad for you. All it wants to do is to protect your feelings. It doesn't know that the gym is good for you. It doesn't know that anything is good or bad for you. All it wants to do is to protect your feelings. Okay? Now, when we have that awareness, we can only manage what we can acknowledge. When people have this awareness that they're going back to their lazy default thing because of these, then they can manage it so much better because they're just so much more aware. And that is what emotional intelligence is. It's about being self-aware of what you're doing. Because all of these little things here are behaviors. We are not our behaviors. I'll spell it the American way. We are our good intention. And our good intention is always going to be to protect our feelings. It's always going to be to protect our feelings. And so it's so much better when I can get people in here to change with the hypnosis. A shock, as I say, shock will do it for some people. And then they do that. But yes, we are responsible for our behaviors. We are responsible for our behaviors, but we also need to understand that people will go back to their lazy default and that actually it's because of these. You've got to get rid of those. Those have to be got rid of. When you can get rid of the past pain, then people won't need to keep on protecting their feelings because then these will shrink. They just won't need to do it. And I know this because I have it time and time again. I've been doing this for years, and this is what I've been doing, getting rid of those, and then these things will go. I had a lady come to me, she was cheek chewing, and it was from something here. It's like a form of picking. And so it was, again, around criticism from her parent. And so we got rid of that. Oh, and then she also stopped eating so much sugar. That just happened. She goes, oh, and I've stopped doing that. I didn't go for one thing or the other. It's like, got to get rid of that. I mean, I did build in some suggestions about the cheek chewing, but I didn't, but she didn't, we didn't actually, that was just a side, something on the side, that she got rid of as well. So it's, I had somebody come to me for premenstrual tension, and she goes, I'm a nightmare to live with my family. It wasn't that. It was an exile in pain around her mother. That wasn't it. That was her behavior. That was like, if her, that was something she was doing, but it wasn't that. It was that. You clear the landscape, you clear that. And a lot of parents have those, you see, and they actually are still reacting to that, but it's their stuff, not their child's. It's their stuff. They need to clear their stuff, and then they won't be quite so reactive to what is going on for the child. So have I got any questions? Feel free to shout them out. I'll just see if there's any in the chat there. Let me go. Yeah, coming shock. Yeah. If so, are consequences critical? Help it to stick. I think the shock can just really knock people right out of it. Yeah, we are responsible for behaviors, and that's like we can only manage what we can acknowledge. And when people are aware of it, then they can acknowledge it and they take ownership. Oh yeah, taking responsibility is huge. People do need to still, this isn't an excuse. I tell you what, it does help a lot of people though, because I see a lot of people who are traumatized by their 5 sessions, but my sessions are long. I see a lot of people and they're traumatized from their parents who have been alcoholics or and so they're there. When they understand this, because I get a lot of people saying, why didn't they didn't love me enough to stop drinking? Why wasn't I good enough? Wasn't I? And so these children are also become perfectionists. Now they're adult perfectionists, but they're still picking because it's like they didn't feel as though they were worthy enough. That's a lot of thing I see. I'm not worthy for my parent to have stopped drinking. When I do these, they realize that, oh, my dad or my mum also had a parent who was an alcoholic, and they have exiles in pain, and they have this. And then they understand, and then they have this awareness that actually that this bit in here, this middle bit, was actually just didn't know if it was good or bad. It was just protecting their feelings. And so you might get a grown adult, say just the father, wanting to stop drinking, but every night or whatever, or if he hears a noise that reminds him of his childhood, he will go back to his lazy default and he will start drinking, no matter how much he might absolutely love and adore his children. I recently just had the shock stopped a man from being an alcoholic. The shock. He used to beat his wife. I didn't see him. I saw the daughter. He used to beat his wife up every night, and the little girl from birth had heard this. There was a lot of trauma there. It was horrible. And when she was 13, he started on her, beat her, and when he saw her in the morning, her face, that was the first time he'd hit her. He stopped. The shock. She said that was it. He then stopped. He stopped hitting me and my mum. He stopped. He stopped alcohol. He stopped everything, and because the shock that he had gone on to his daughter now was like so much. So shock really can do it for some people. But I get a lot of people and their parents don't, and they're still here. And it's probably, and they understand now that they've got their own exiles in pain, and it's the only way they can cope through life. They may be functioning alcoholics, but it's because of this. I've got to clear that. That's what I do, in my opinion, and I do it really well. I do it day in, day out. Yeah, it's in my opinion, that's so important to clear that. So I had another question there, or another, what was that? How many? Yeah, I do typically 5. Sometimes it goes, it just depends. Can a repetitive default unconscious behavior be bridged to a previous default unconscious behavior? Probably, yeah, there's onion layers. Absolutely. And that's what I call it, onion layers. So that's why the work can take a little bit longer. However, once again, if I can get the activating event, the initial sensitizing event, the activating event, then so sometimes when I'm doing this work with people, I'm calibrating and watching all the time, and we'll get right, that will be right down, and then suddenly it'll go back up, and I go, what came in now? I've just remembered this. And then I go, okay, so now where are you? And we start again. We start again, and we just carry on. So I'm watching all the time. I see people's faces go flush up, flush down. They'll start crying. As I say, I have grown men crying, and this is the cathartic release. I have had somebody be sick before, You can only imagine what happened to them. So, and it's okay. It's okay with me. That's why I can never be in an office. I'm in my house. because of because the people in the office, they'd be calling the police probably. So what is the bunny talk process, the bunny method? It's an anchoring technique. I'll send you a link to my book, and it'll explain how I developed it with my daughter. And then it's something I'm now training to therapists, hypnotists, hypnotherapists, any practitioner who works with children, teens, and for inner child work all over the world. So it's content free. A lot of my work is content free. I don't need to hear the story because the person knows the story. And that's why I work so quickly, actually, Casey, because I'm not an American therapist. I don't need to hear all of the story to actually get somebody to where they need to be, because they know it. Like I say, they just come in with their list and then we clear it. And then I hear the bare bones of it. And then we just clear it straight away. I get straight into it. We clear it. I tidy everything up with hypnosis. Some people do like to talk. They do. They want me to know. They want to share. But I try and keep that still to a minimum, because I want the work to move forwards. Like I say, I'm not an American therapist. So it's what else we got here? Some oh, how do you clear it without hearing all the details of the story? Okay, that's a really good question. In my opinion, okay, so let me go back to that one. In my opinion, when somebody is telling the story, they're going over the path well trod. Okay, they're telling the story, they're going over it and over it. And because it is human nature to want other people to feel sorry for us or to like us, they will tell the story, and they may well, and they do, I know they do, distort it. They'll leave some bits out, they'll add some other bits. Now suddenly they have a new belief system, and that story that may well have happened is actually now worse. That's why I don't like to hear all the story. I just want to hear the bare bones of it, and then I clear it. Yeah, memory reconsolidation. It'll just reaffirm that negative story. Why? Don't need to go over it. The therapy aspect. So I work alongside a lot of therapists. They send me their clients. If you like, I'm the troubleshooter. I'm the one who can clear all of these bits off. What if therapy is really good to helping people to understand, especially if they're in it. So say if somebody's still in a bad relationship or still in this, and they need to go over and over and just talk it through. That's brilliant. Therapists are great. Or therapists are great for getting people to a place where they're ready to let go as well. And that's when they come and see me. I don't need to hear the story. They've already told it to the therapist. Or they've told it, or they're still telling it to therapists, but they know I'm not interested in it. It drives me nuts. I've got the attention for that. Let's get to the nitty gritty, which I'm really good at. Okay, it's like, yeah, I'll kind of get a bit bored, I think, if I had to hear people's stories all the time. So I'm best doing what I do, and that's why I work alongside a therapist or psychotherapist. As I say, that lady, the girl whose dad had beaten her up, and there was so much trauma there. And I did do the bunny talk with her because it had happened since she was little, and it was all content free pretty much. I did know certain bits because she had written it here. Brother did this, dad did this, sort of like this happened to the animals, blah, blah, blah. It was, that was it. That was all I knew. Didn't need to know anymore because she knew it. She knew where it was in her body. She knew how she felt about it. We could activate the feeling pretty quick, and then I could release it. Does that make sense? with eye movements, with psychosensory movements, with all sorts of stuff that I do. But I'm not training that today because it's like a lot of training. So do we have any questions on any of those diagrams? Oh, where have I got some more questions there? What do you suggest for next steps? Oh yeah, no, sometimes I will still see people. And I get a lot of people going, oh, I don't want to, can I still come and see you? So yes, of course, it's like, can be every once a month, or it can be whatever, because there's always stuff I can do. There's always things that I can relieve. And it doesn't have to be just the 5 sessions. If there's still more work to do, then it will go beyond. It's just that people pay for me. I like to do it this way. Everybody's different, but I like to have my first, so every session is a certain amount, and then the first session is always 2 hours. I give that extra half hour because I do all these diagrams and there's a lot. And sometimes in the second hour, if I'm getting an activated feeling, I'll clear it. And then they're like going, oh, wow, okay, now I get it. It's like, you can help me. So then I, well, in the next bit, which is I'm going to do now in our next hour as well, give you lots of techniques and strategies, and you'll experience hypnosis as well. So that's what I do in the second hour. And then after that, if people want to work with me after they've had that 2-hour session, which most people then do, they book a block of 4, which they will pay up front, but they get it at a much less, they get to, about, I don't know, however much discount. And then they're in at that rate, because then I will keep people in at that rate that they paid then. So that it just becomes, saving money. So yes, if they need a 6th or a 7th, and I've got a couple like that who just needed some more. And a lot of people get curious, and then they're like, we're like, do you do past life regressions? Yeah, I really fancy a past life regression as well. So then they'll come in and do that as well, because they just fancy it by then, and that's fine. So yeah, but otherwise, yes, if they want to go back to their other therapist and they know that they can come back to me to troubleshoot, not a problem, because I'm private pay. And they will often have their therapist as a person that they can get through their network. But I'm lucky. I get a lot of referrals from therapists, a lot. And I see therapists, and I've seen psychotherapists, because they also have those XLs in pain. We all do. And that's, why we do what we do as well. I've pretty much got rid of a lot of mine. Some are still ongoing. But I have all my tools, and that's what I'm going to share with you now. Okay, the tools, because these help people manage life. I can't stop life happening to anybody. Well, I could, but I'm not going to. But life is like that. Okay, and it's meant to be. We've all seen the films where it goes beep 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 boop. Okay, well, it has to go up and down, because otherwise we're dead. So it's okay. We're going to have highs, we're going to have lows. It's how we manage life. And this is what I'm now going to share with you, all of everything that I do here. So let me see. I think, is it helpful if I write it down as well for you all? And then it's just something for you to look at and take note of, or because if I just speak it out, you might not. Because what I normally do for all my clients is I write it down. I write all the techniques and tools for them, and then they can, then they've got them. Because as I say, and people keep the diagrams that I draw as well, so they've got them to refer to. Now, these are, so breathing. So many people, I see so many people who are told to deep breathe, but they don't know how. Now, breathing, we breathe in through the nose because it activates the vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve is directly linked to the parasympathetic nervous system. So it calms all the organs down. That is why we breathe in through the nose. And you may well already know there's the 4-4-4, there's box breathing, there's the 7-11. You can do all those. This is one that I have found really good for panic attacks. Okay. And it is breathing in through the nose like this, going, hold it, and then it's an immediate relaxation on the chest, immediate. Okay, so you can all do it with me. Are you ready? Go. Hold it. Big dump out, and that is immediate on the chest. I use that. You have big scary trucks out here and they go right up my backside when I'm driving, or sometimes I'm like breathing in and this big truck and I'm like off the side. You have big trucks here, so I'm doing this breathing when I'm driving a lot. Okay, so it's so that's called managing life right there. Okay, so we have breathing. All right, there are lots of other breathing techniques. I'm sure you may well be aware of them. So it's find the one for you. All right, so that's the breathing. And then here is a grounding technique. And it is fun, and you probably know this already, but it's 5 things you can see. And I make my clients go 5 things you can see. 4 things you can touch. 3 things you can hear. 2 things you can smell. 1 thing you can taste. And then I always have my clients some water, so we both drink some water. Now, that's a grounding technique. Using their senses. They are using their senses. When I say 2 things you can smell, and they're going, oh, and I go, well, smell your armpit. Now they start laughing, okay? And you cannot have anxiety when you are laughing. You cannot. It goes back to caveman days. It is imprinted into our psyche that when we are smiling, laughing, having loving sex, eating, drinking, you cannot have anxiety, because they would not have been doing those things if there had been a saber-toothed tiger there. Okay. Now, here are some Reiki precepts just for today. 1 day at a time. Past is past. Can't do anything about the past. I can, okay, with my light pen, which is the bus technique, havening, the bunny talk process, and I've got some other things that I can do stuff around the past for. Okay, the future is also the future, and if we live in the future, which so many people do, doing the what ifs, what if this, what if that happens, then what if they do that, what if they go back to that, what if they're like this, what happens, what do I do? Well, doing that is not very nice, is it? Okay, so that causes anxiety. And it's like, oh, what if they say that? Then she'll be thinking that, and then oh, panic, panic, panic. Okay, so this is what we do with the what ifs. What if, blah, blah, blah. You finish the sentence with, I'll handle it. I'll figure it out. You could also say, what if something wonderful happens? Now, I once had a client who said to me, oh, Claudia, I know what I'll be saying. I'll be saying, what if I don't handle it? I said, where's the evidence that you never handled it? So we're looking for evidence. And she said, well, there was this one time. So I said, okay. I said, did you get some learning? Oh, yes. I said, great. There is never a fail in life. There is never a fail. Only learning. And whenever my kids have not always failed, but when they failed, as I say, I've got 5, when they failed in something that they perceive as a failure, I just go, what did you learn? Oh, I didn't like that very much. Will you do it again? No. Okay. What did you learn? What else did you learn? What did you learn? What did you learn? Does it fit your core values and your core beliefs? I will often ask my youngsters that I see, what are your goals? What do you actually want in life? And then we work backwards. Well, what do you need to do to get there? What else do you need to do to get there? What else do you need to do to get there? And they come up with the answers. Not me. They do. They are doing the work. I guide and they do the work. Does that make sense? So we go for the end. What do they want? What do they, which I asked all of you, what do you want? Right at the very beginning, I said, what do you want? And that's what I ask my other young people as well. And they tell me, I go, okay, how do we get there? Now, so let me go back to this bit. So just for today, no need to worry because we're not going to do the what ifs. However, do you know what? We're going to cross that out and we're going to put, I choose to what? Now, this goes back to something that you all wanted. I choose to feel calm. Okay, so let's just choose that one for now. Or I choose to feel peace. How about peace? I choose to feel peaceful. How's that? No need to anger. Now, anger is only bad if we should on ourselves or it's violent. So should now at least equals could. Preferably I choose to, because you always have a choice. Who's in control of you? Only you are in control of you. So you always have a choice. So we're going to cross out, no need to anger. I choose to feel.
The therapy principle.
Yeah, calm. So I choose to feel calm. Okay. Now, I don't always mind anger. Okay. I don't always mind anger. It is the one emotion that will give you the kick up the butt to create change. Because, and when you go below the blow of that anger towards yourself, there's actually self-love. So when you want to create change, you need that energy from that anger to give you the motivation, to give you the energy to create change. And then we look at, actually, there was self-love there. I'll share my personal thing. I needed that energy to leave my first husband. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have done it if I hadn't had that energy, that anger towards the way he treated me. And below that was actually fundamentally probably self-love. This isn't, I'm not putting up with this anymore. I used to be that big. Now I'm a lot bigger. But I also understand that as well for people. Okay. I've grown. So that's why I don't always mind anger, but go below it. There will be for change, anger for change anyway. Okay. So I choose to feel calm. Now, what else? Be honest. Instead of being angry with other people, this is what we do. We be honest. I feel, or I wonder. I wonder if we can all put some fun music on and tidy the house up in 10 minutes. I feel it'd be really helpful if you could bring your plates down, because I'm not looking forward to ants or cockroaches this summer. I'd really like you to put your clothes in the laundry basket. I feel it would be really helpful if you put your clothes in the laundry basket so that I can get them clean for you. I wonder if you could empty the dishwasher every so often. Not, you never do this, you don't do that, you're not, that's just an argument. Okay, you're blaming. When you use the word you, or if you ask the word why did you do that? Why are you doing that? Why is so guilt making. It is awful. And if you've got youngsters, you will just put their back up. Why did you do that? It's horrible. Just makes people feel that big. So it's about being honest. I wonder what gave, you know, you, I wonder why you, no, again, that's another wonder why. I wonder what made you think that was a good idea. I'm curious. Tell me more. What did you learn? What did you learn from that? Does that make sense? Be humble. What is being humble? Well, being humble isn't saying I'm sorry, because we're not doormats. Being humble is using our two ears and listening. So if somebody's pointing out your quirks, your annoying things, all right, first of all, we're all annoying. Human beings are really annoying. So we're all annoying. So if somebody's pointing out what you do that is annoying them, listen and go, do I? Do I do that? Yeah, yeah, you're right, I do. Thank you for pointing it out. I'll be more aware. And I wonder, now they got their need met, which was to be heard. Everybody has a need to be heard. So you heard them, and now they will hear you. That is a conversation. That's how we communicate. It's not this other stuff of, well, you don't do that. Well, you do this. You don't do that. Well, I don't. You do. That's an argument. Yeah. Okay. So that's why that doesn't work. So be humble. That's, do I? And agree with them. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I do. Because you probably do. You probably are doing that annoying thing. Because we're all annoying. Okay. Then this one, be compassionate towards yourself and others. So be kind to yourself. So if you do worry, if you do get angry with yourself, the shoulding, be kind to yourself. You're only a human being. All right. So be kind to yourself and others, because everybody has these. So always be kind. Get curious. What's going on for them? As I say, 5 children. When my kids were ever really foul to me, I'd take it as a compliment. Do you know why? Because they felt safe enough to do that to me. They couldn't be foul to their friends. They couldn't be foul to their teachers. They're hurting. Their bodies are weirdly changing. They feel creeped out. Somebody may have been mean to them at school. They've got this whatever going on inside them. Who are they going to snap at? Mum or dad, okay? Because they have to get it out. And that is a much better place to be, is getting that out. So that's called maybe acting out. That is better than acting in. Yes, everything's fine. Well, then you're people pleasing. Yes, everything's fine. I'm fine. Don't worry. Yes, what can I do to help, mummy? Instead of going, no, just leave me alone. I'm going up to my room, slam door. That's much better. Because, and then afterwards, maybe they say, I'm sorry. All right. I would prefer my child to do that, because then I know that they know that I love them unconditionally. Yeah. They know that they can be that foul to me, and that all they have to do is apologize, be nice, and I'll be going, it's okay. Yeah. Are you ready to tell me what's up? I take it as a compliment. They've got to get it out of them. Life's tough, and they need to feel their feelings, and it needs to be okay for kids to feel their feelings. It needs to be okay for us to feel our feelings too. And it's about getting it out, and there's having those conversations without the blame and the why and you do this, and it needs to be just, as caring as possible. Okay, so I'm going to tell you some stories now. All right. Now, How to let it go. So these are some more techniques. All right. So it's called my monkey story. Monkeys live in the jungle and they go from tree to tree, so we can't catch them. So what we do is we bury a vase shaped like that. We bury it in the sand or the soil. We put in a shiny stone or some fruit, and then we go and hide in the bushes. Now, Monkey has been watching you, and monkeys are very curious. So Monkey climbs down off the tree, pops his little hand in, grabs hold of the shiny stone or the fruit, and he makes a fist. And he can't get out. You come over, pop the net over Monkey. Monkey's trapped. Monkey's lost his happiness. Monkey's lost his freedom. If only he'd let it go. I want you all to do that now with your hands. Let it go, let it go, let it go. Okay? I do this at night time. If I've got something going on in my head about something, let it go, let it go, let it go. All right? Because these are the thoughts. Because you are all magnificent trees. And these are your branches. And a bird comes and lands in your branch, and a bird's the thought. Well, we all know what happens with thoughts. You get another thought, another bird in this other hand. And then you've got all of these branches up here full of birds, full of thoughts. Then they make nests. Then they have babies, and then they crap all over your tree. Okay? Started with one thought. Now, we all have thoughts, but you don't need to let it make a nest. Okay? Put your hands out like this. And I am going to put the thought of a feather in one hand, and I'm going to put the thought of a kettlebell in the other hand. Which hand is heavier? Do you think the kettlebell? Do you know what? They're both the same. It's just a thought. I know, Cam, a thought. Okay? We all have thoughts. We all have thoughts. We have, oh, my pen's running out, 70,000 thoughts a day. 70,000. 53,000 are negative. We are hardwired for negativity. Hardwired for it. Goes back to caveman days. Always looking out. The amygdala is always going, where's the saber-toothed tiger? Where's the hairy mammoth? Okay? Always looking out for it. Where's the snake? Now, I'll draw a line here. 10% of the day we are sad. 10% of the day we are happy. And there is this bit in the middle. There are more unhappy millionaires than there are happy millionaires. And it's because they're not billionaires. I'll only be happy when I have that yacht. I'll be happy when I'm a billionaire. I'll be happy when I've got that house. I'll be happy. So they're constantly going into the gap. Now, if they had looked and thought of where they have come from, what they have achieved, what they have done, the progress children have made, the progress, then we go into the game and we're heading towards happier. We can never be happy 100% of the time. That's why this course, this workshop is called Becoming a Happier You. You know, 10% of the day, there's always going to be something sad because there's war. 10% of the day, we're always going to be happy because there's a cute little baby or a little puppy dog or something. Okay. So we'll always be something cute to look at. But it's about always catching yourself with that thought. It's just a thought. Let it go. And then get yourself back into the game. Okay. I'm going to give you some more tools. I'm going to tell you another story. And for some reason, don't ask me why. I know the story, but I always like to read it from here. Don't ask me why. It must be anchored into me somewhere. Okay. An aging Hindu master noticed that a certain apprentice would often feel down and complain about his life. And so one morning sent him for some salt. When the apprentice returned, the master instructed the unhappy young man to put a handful of salt in a glass of water and then to drink it. How does it taste? The master asked. Bitter, spat the apprentice. The two walked in silence to the nearby lake, and now the master instructed the younger man to cast another handful of salt into the clear lake. The old man said, "Now drink from the lake." As the water dripped down the young man's chin, the master asked, "How does it taste?" "Fresh," remarked the apprentice. "Do you taste the salt?" asked the master. "No," said the young man. At this, the master sat beside this serious young man who so reminded him of himself when he had been young, and took his hands, offering, "The pain of life is pure salt, no more, no less. The amount of pain in life remains exactly the same. However, the amount of bitterness we taste depends on the container we put the pain in. So when you are in pain, the only thing you can do is to enlarge your sense of things. Stop being a glass, become a lake." So what I'd like you all to do now, and this is what I say in my room, I say, stand up, okay? And then I say, find a spot on the wall, and I want you to put whatever it is you're feeling, could be anxious about something, whatever it is, and I want you to focus all of that anger or whatever it is on that red dot. Scale it for me, 10 being the worst, 0 nothing. And then I want you to do this with your hands. And then I want you to focus that on the thing. And then slowly, slowly, slowly open up your arms until you can see your hands in the periphery of your vision. And now notice how you feel about that thing now. And it will be less. And then you could repeat it until you get that right down. Okay? So that's one way. Another thing I often do with my youngsters, or anybody actually, all of my clients, I will now stand behind them and I will say, "Where's your future?" And people often do that. And I go, "Do I have permission to touch you?" "Yes." And then I go, "That's your future." We've got a couple here. Do it to each other right now in front of us all, if you don't mind. One of you stand behind the other. And if you put, so Wendy, if you put, like, say that's your future, can you stand behind? That's it. And then pull her up. So put, that's your future. Now pull your arms, ready? And say, "That's your future." How did that feel? Feel free to unmute yourself. How did that feel, Wendy? You'll have to unmute yourself, I'm afraid.
I probably needed a little more time to feel it, but I get the idea.
You get the idea.
Yeah.
It's
Why?
massive. It's massive. When I have done this with some of my like I say, I get clients who I get therapists who send me their clients. Sometimes they have suicidal ideation. Okay. And I think, "Oh, thanks for sending them to me." But it's like, and I do that will stop it in its tracks, because they're so angry about grades, about this expectation that they have to perform for their parents or whatever it is. And then when they suddenly realize that they're going to live till 100 and they go, oh yeah, I've got all this life. Oh yeah. Just all unravels. And they go, and then we go back to, because what do you want? Oh yeah, I want this. Right. That's your goal. That's what we're going for. And again, change, it's huge. It's huge. When somebody did that on me, I just went, "Oh yes, thank you." It was so exciting. Life is out there. Doesn't need to be just that. Okay, that's massive for my youngsters, especially because they've got all this stuff. They just become so narrow-minded, and they've got to perform or people please, and it's like, no, they don't. Okay, so there's lots of other techniques I give. Oh, I've got another one. Do you remember I said on here, I said here that our feelings are emotions, which is energy in motion. Okay. So there's always, if anybody here has got any anxiety, all right, an anxious feeling, I want you to put your finger up. Everybody put the fingers up. If you've got anger about something, if you've got a feeling that you just don't want, put your finger up. And then I want you to spin it, because feelings, emotions always have a spin. They've always got a spin. They've always got a spin because it's energy and motion. And feel into it. And then I ask people, what color is it? What color? And if people have anxiety, it could be red, it could be black, it could be whatever it is, or it could be a fear, so it could be black. It's whatever it is. What has it got a smell? Has it got a sound? Da, da, da. And then I get more information, and then I shout, stop, and then spin it the other way. And now notice how you feel about that thing. And people will go, oh, it's yellow, it's white. And how do you feel about it? But it's just unraveling. Oh my gosh, it's like, oh, what does it smell like? Flowers. Okay. It's like, so it changes. No drugs involved in any of these things that I've given you, these techniques and strategies. That is what I love about it. These are neurolinguistic programming techniques. They are therapeutic techniques. They are things that are well known. No drugs involved. No anxiety meds. No depression meds. These are all things that people can do to let things go. Okay? Don't you love that? I mean, isn't that awesome? And I have so many more things. Let me see. I've got something that I do like to give to people as like a little homework, and I do this myself, is the 5-5-5. And every night I do this. So it is 5 things I'm grateful for. 5 things I've achieved during the day. 5 things I want to achieve the next day. And sometimes they overlap, but I've written, and sometimes they're the same thing. It doesn't matter. The fact there's no 5-5 police, all right? The fact is that I then go to sleep with being grateful, because I'm grateful for the things there. And then I'm grateful that I've got to achieve these things. And I'm grateful that I still have things to achieve. And yes, sometimes my achieving list goes on for a few days because I still haven't done something. Again, it doesn't matter. All right. It's just like, but I'm doing it. And yeah. And for all 5 things, oh, that's nice. 5 things to let go of. I actually just never write anything negative, but you do what you do. And and that again is great. 5 things to let go of. That's why, I mean, I don't know how many things I'm letting go of when I do that. Basketfuls. So yeah, so there's lots of as I say, there's lots of other things I can do. Has anybody got any questions so far on any of that? Has this been helpful? Have you enjoyed it? And so what would be really nice now is if we did some hypnosis. Okay, so I'm going to put some music on. I'm not sure if you do hear this so well over the, oh, let me just get my iPad out, over the Zoom. Sometimes people can hear it, sometimes they can't. Let me just get my music on. And this is, so let me explain what hypnosis is and what it isn't. So hypnosis is something that we all go into every day. We just do. When you watch a film or a movie, do you get involved with it? Do you get emotional? How many of you start telling it off? All right. What are they doing? No, shut the door. Stop. Why are they doing that? Oh, it's ridiculous. Oh, it's so sad. Okay. It's not real. Yet you're involved. Okay. Same for sports players. So if any of you have played any sports, you will know that you have to be in the zone, all right, to get into space, to be at a certain place when somebody's passing you the ball. And that is all you have to do that. Now, you can't be going, hey, mum, because that's the moment, boom, you get hit on the head with a ball. Okay. So that doesn't happen. You are in the zone of football, soccer, basketball, whatever it is that you're doing. All right. You're in the zone. That is a form of hypnosis. When you are all driving and suddenly you go, how did I get home? Did I go through the red light? That's highway hypnosis. You actually would have stopped at the red light because your brain would have just done that. The biggest part of you still would have protected you. Okay. But it's like, yeah, sometimes I kept like, oh my gosh, where was I? That's like, and that's why sometimes if you do, I'll be going, oh, that's really annoying because actually I wanted to go that way, but I've still gone that way. All done that? Yeah. And it's like, and then you have to turn around because you weren't thinking while you were driving. So that's a form of hypnosis. Okay. So we all go into hypnosis every day. We all do. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take you, let me explain this. So as I've said, hypnosis is just having less thoughts. You'll still have thoughts when you're in hypnosis because you have 70,000 a day. It's just having less of them. Okay. But my mind wanders when I'm in hypnosis. And then it is also this. So every day, that is beta. Hopefully some of you will have been in that today with me, wide awake. At some point, while you would have been listening to me, you will all have zoned out because it's been 2 hours. At some point, you would have gone, oh shit, where was she? What was she saying? Okay. And you'd have gone into alpha, theta, and then there's delta. Delta is sleep. I don't want you asleep. Sleep is not hypnosis. That is not sleep. This is hypnosis. And you will go as deep as you need to go to get what you need to get. And theta is that little bit just before you slip into sleep. And that is deep hypnosis. Okay. People will go as deep as you need to go to get what you need to get. It's going to be whatever it is for you. There is no right or wrong in hypnosis. It's your hypnosis. Can't do it right, can't do it wrong. Okay. So it's going to be whatever it is for you. So just checking now, and if you can hear this, I've got all of your emails. So I am actually going to record this and I'm going to send you this from a recording as well. Okay, that I'm going to record because the music will be better on here with me because it's right next to me. And then you have that. Okay, so it's, let me just, oh, that's what I was looking for. I'll just get this. Okay. So I'm going to record this. And as I say, you can't do this right. You can't do it wrong. I will take you into hypnosis through relaxation because we're a group. I often might do an eye fixation. There's many, many ways to get people into hypnosis. You can do there's all sorts of ways. But I'm going to do a relaxation so that you can go into a bit like the yoga. Anybody done yoga? That end bit when they have yoga and they do a relaxation. Guess what? They're doing hypnosis. Great. Okay. So it's everything's hypnosis. So, oh, does anybody need the bathroom? Everybody okay? Okay. I just want to check. I always ask that as well for my clients before I do hypnosis if they need the bathroom. Okay. So let me just. Where's my phone? Oh, there it is. Okay. Right. Are you all ready? Okay. That's right. And just allowing your eyes to feel comfortably closed now while you listen to the sound of my voice. Because the sound of my voice will help you, will help relax you as you just drift off now, deep, deep down into that wonderful place of relaxation. That place where you feel so safe, so calm, so deeply relaxed. And all the time, breathing in positive thoughts and breathing out any negative thoughts or feelings. They're not needed. They're not required. They're not wanted. That's right. And allow all the muscles in your head to relax. Just imagine each individual hair follicle relaxing down. And the muscles around your eyes and your jaw, any tension you're holding there in your jaw, just let that all relax. And while you're listening to the sound of my voice, if you hear any noises inside or outside, they won't bother you. You'll just know it's the sounds of other people going about their daily business. And that's fine, because you're here with me, feeling safe and calm, and allowing yourself to go deeper and deeper into that wonderful place of relaxation. Deeper and deeper relaxed. That's right. And allow all the muscles in your neck and your shoulders to relax. And your arms and your forearms, and all the way down to the tips of your fingers. And while you're listening to the sound of my voice, if you need to shuffle about a bit or scratch your nose, that's fine. Do whatever you need to do in order to feel more and more comfortable, more and more at peace, more and more calm. That's right. And allow all the muscles in your chest and your stomach to relax, and your back and your lower back. And while you're listening to the sound of my voice, you may get a slight tingling sensation, just like little prickles in your head or somewhere else in your body. And that's fine. It just means that you're allowing yourself to go deeper and deeper into that wonderful place of relaxation. Deeper and deeper relaxed. That's right. And allow all the muscles in your buttocks to relax, and your thighs, and your calves, and all the way down to the tips of your toes. Just allowing your whole body now to go deeper and deeper into that wonderful place of relaxation. Deeper and deeper relaxed. That's right. And now you're feeling so comfortably relaxed. Nobody needing anything. Nobody wanting anything. And absolutely nothing whatsoever for you to do except to relax and listen to the sound of my voice. And now I'd like your wonderful mind and imagination to drift off to that magical, mystical place in your mind, that safe place of yours, whatever it is for you, because there's no right or wrong in hypnosis. That safe place of yours, that magical, mystical place, that safe place where you can make positive lifestyle changes now. That's right. And now, while you're in this magical, mystical place, this safe place of yours, I'd like you to give yourself a gift. And it could be a gift around your beliefs or your values, or something that you really want or desire right now. Make it a good gift. Make it a really good gift. That's right. And now, I'd like you to use your wonderful mind and imagination to imagine a force field surrounding your body, protecting you. And this force field protects you because you do not give other people's bad behavior or their emotions or your own negative feelings and emotions permission to change the way you feel. You do not give other people's bad behavior or their emotions or your own negative feelings and emotions permission to change the way you feel. And there's an opening in this force field, and it's where you breathe in new learnings, new positives, new opportunities, new potential. New adventures. And it's where you breathe out any negative feelings, images, thoughts, emotions, or sensations that you've been holding on to. It's where you breathe out to the old negative psychological rubbish that goes on in your head. That's right. And now, I'd like you to run a movie through your head. And this is a movie of you over the coming days, weeks, months, years, looking the way you want to look, feeling the way you want to feel, and doing all the things that you want to do. You have this gift. You have this force field surrounding you, protecting you, because you do not give other people's bad behavior or their emotions or your own negative feelings and emotions permission to change the way you feel. Make it a good movie. Make it a really good movie. We are the movies we play in our heads. We are the movies we play in our heads. Always play a good movie. Always play a good movie. That's right. And now, in a moment, I will wake you. And I will count from 1 to 5. And on 5, you'll open your eyes and you will feel amazing. In a moment, I will wake you and I will count from 1 to 5. And on 5, you'll open your eyes with a great big smile on your face. In a moment, I will count from 1 to 5. And on 5, you'll open your eyes and you will feel really good for you. And you have this gift. You have this force field surrounding you, protecting you, because you do not give other people's bad behavior or their emotions or your own negative feelings and emotions permission to change the way you feel. And you've seen yourself in a movie, looking the way you want to look, feeling the way you want to feel, and doing all the things that you want to do. And so, ready now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Open your eyes, feeling amazing, feeling really good for you. You have this gift. You have this force field surrounding you, protecting you, because you do not give other people's bad behavior or their emotions or your own negative feelings and emotions permission to change the way you feel. And you've seen yourself in a movie, looking the way you want to look, feeling the way you want to feel, and doing all the things that you want to do. That's right. Are you back here with me in the present, everybody? So, and I will actually end the recording there and then you can all talk to me. So thank you, everybody. There we go. I will